Robstar gang, what up? What up? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Robstar Report. Appreciate everyone joining. Appreciate having everyone here. Shout out to everybody in the chat that is joining tonight. Appreciate you guys. Welcome to the draft report card, basically. A lot of people, you're not going to expect, I don't think you're going to expect my grades to be perfect. You're probably not going to expect some of the grades that I'm giving. You might not even respect the grades that I'm giving. You know what I mean? But, we got people out here who says if you swap out Lee Hunter for Eli Stowers, I give this grade plus. Again, I don't think I do think tight end's a need that needs to be addressed to an extent, though. You just solidified your defensive line. That is the biggest thing I take away from that. The only other thing, if we get Stowers, we solidify our tight end room. I mean, it's like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? I get, right? Great draft, interesting, non-sexy positions. That's critical. We also didn't reach for any of our draft positions, chat. That's another thing. We didn't reach for anyone. It wasn't like we went out there and reached for these guys. You know what I mean? So that is the biggest thing for me, is that we didn't go out there and reach for these players, man. None of these were reach picks. That's the biggest thing I took away from this. Let's call this what it is, chat. We didn't walk into the 2026 draft trying to win headlines. We didn't. We walked into this draft trying to fix problems. That's what we did. We walked in here trying to fix problems. That's what it was. There was nothing more, nothing less. All right. By the way, we are doing the announcement for the giveaways. I was actually going to ask you guys, do you want to go ahead and do the announcement for the giveaways now? Or should we do that and at the end? Y'all just let me know in the comments. All right. What's up, Marcos? If you want to do the giveaway, we could do it now. We could go ahead and get that out the way. That way the people can go ahead and get their information to me, whoever win. Or we can do it at the end of the show. Normally I do it at the end, but I'm okay doing it early today if you guys want to go ahead and knock out the giveaway. Because 2 people are winning tonight. One person's winning a jersey and one person is going to win a hat. What's up, Zach? See you in the chat. What's up, Marcos? I see you guys in here. E-Money, Josh Barr, Shawnee. I see you. Guys, do me a favor. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button on the way in. All right. Make sure you hit your thumbs up button on the way in, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you click that post notifications bell so you don't miss any new content. So become a member today if you haven't done so. Become a member. The link is in the description of this live stream. It's less than a cup of coffee from Starbucks. If you really are feeling generous and you want to donate back to the channel, because all your donations go right back towards the channel, whether it's equipment, monthly payments on stuff, merch, which we're still working on, that will be appreciated. Venmo or Cash App, but that I don't normally ask for that. But if you want to donate, it definitely helps. So, or you can donate to here. You can send a super chat. Super chats are always welcome, and I greatly appreciate it. But I just want your likes and subscribes, man. Honestly, the more you guys like, the more you subscribe, the more the viewership goes up, the more we have chances of getting sponsorship deals, stuff like that. That's huge. Jack Strand, my quarterback. I like Hates Key, but Jack Strand, we got to go get him from Atlanta in 3 years. Smash that like button, subscribe. Appreciate that, Dom 34. Appreciate that. How about this? We just do it at the end. It's just gonna we'll do the giveaway at the end. All right. If you haven't entered, you still have time to enter. All you got to do is send a screenshot that you are subscribed to the Robstar Report channel. I know that I see people in the chat that are subscribed, but I'm not just going to go through the whole chat and be like, oh, this person's added to the list. You just need to send me a screenshot. If you want to be involved in this giveaway this evening, you still have a chance. All you have to do is send a screenshot that you're subscribed to the channel. Even Marcos Cash has been a subscriber here for 5 years or so, and he still sent me a screenshot. Okay. If he can be a subscriber for 5 years, you guys can send a screenshot too. And technology these days, ladies and gentlemen, it's not that hard. It is not that hard. If you got to send me a message request, send me a message and just say hello. I will accept it, and then you can send the screenshot because sometimes it doesn't let you do it. All right, I get it. I understand. All right, let me get it pulled up. Let's start off with Monroe Freeling, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start off with that young man, and I'm going to give you his grade right now. So let's pull him up real quick. Let me pull his grade up that I have. All right, so here's the first grade I have up, chat. Monroe Freeling. I gave it an A-. I gave Monroe Freeling an A-. Now, actually, before we get into that, and honestly, he's probably, and I want to say this. My final grade, I would give this, I mean, even with it, like, I think I gave us my final grade overall for this draft is like a B. It's between like it's not an A-. It's like a B+. It's like between a B and a B+, right? Because I felt like this draft class, and like, no pun intended here, guys. Like, I feel like this draft class for the Carolina Panthers was like grocery shopping when you're on a budget. You know what I mean? Like, we've all been there. I get it. Right now, eggs are as high as a giraffe's dick. I get it. All right. But you didn't get any filet mignon. You didn't go and get some flashy dessert. You just got the meats, the potatoes, the vegetables, some rice, the stuff that you could still make a good dinner with, but you didn't spend, right? Just stuff you actually needed to survive. PB&J, we've all been there. I used to live off of PB&Js in college. All right. So this is what that draft felt like. Well, I felt like we were just shopping, like we were on a budget. You know what I mean? So again, the front office clearly prioritized fixing the offensive line because you cannot let your quarterback get flattened weekly. It gets old. You added size at the wide receiver, which is one of my favorite picks in this draft class, to be honest with you. Filling out the secondary with some developmental pieces. But honestly, the secondary guys that we got that are developmental pieces, they weren't much developmental pieces, guys. We got absolute steals in every round of the draft besides round 7. Besides the last linebacker we got, which we'll talk about him. I mean, most of the guys, I think Sam Hecht, Zakee Wheatley, and Will Lee III, if I'm not mistaken, we're all in the top 100 of the ESPN's board. And we got and you go look at the range that we got them. It's the value you got them for is absolutely insane. And that's the best part because we didn't swing for the fences. We also didn't trip over our own feet either. We didn't panic. Which historically is already progress. And I was worried because we trade back twice in a row, and I was like, are we going to pick somebody? And of course they did. But let's get into Monroe Freeling. We'll dive more into the rest. But Freeling, to me, the pick made sense. I called this pick from like the March. I said it was going to be from Monroe Freeling, or it's going to be Spencer Fano or Caleb Lemieux. And I know this pick didn't make a lot of people jump out of their seats. I know a lot of people who bitched and complained. But this guy is an athletic freak with strong physical tools, okay? Experience at tackle, but the flexible enough to move around. He's only a 1 year. I think he's only technically a 1 year starter, but still a bit of working progress. But we just watched Kirby Smart said that last year he only allowed 5 pressures. And he's one of those guys that you know, he's one of those guys that has been battle tested through the SEC. And another thing is to chat with him. He's he's gonna be. I know I put 5 to 10 years, the anchor for the next. This is a guy that could be here for the next 10 to 15 years. And it's just like Kirby Smart said in that video we watched about him, after night 1 of the draft, where he was just like, the guy takes care of his body. The guy has the worth ethic of a champion. The guy, it could be our left tackle, right tackle, whatever, for the next 10 to 15 years. I know I put 5 to 10 years, but I should have put 10 to 15. Right? But this pick is thinking about long term here. This isn't about week 1. It's about protecting the franchise, right? For the next, 10 to 15 years. So thinking of Freeling, think of the Freeling pick like buying a really expensive mattress. Not exciting today, but your future self will thank you. And that night when you hop into that bed, you're going to be like, I'm gone. You know what I mean? You feel good. And here's the reality check of this whole pick right here that I think a lot of people don't realize is that he may not start immediately, but even reports suggest he'll need time before becoming a full-time contributor. And that's okay. And that's okay. But this is the guy that's going this is the guy that's going to, I think, going to be here for the next 10 to 15 years. I truly believe that. So I gave it an A-. Sound off the comments, guys. Let me know where you're watching from. Make sure you hit the like button. And also, give me your grades. All right. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. Give me your grade on Monroe Freeling. As we go through these grades, give me your grades on each player. I'm interested to know. Sound off of the comments. I love to hear what you guys. I would love to hear what you guys like. You know what I mean? Okay. Next up is Lee Hunter. I gave Lee Hunter a B. I almost put it a B plus. I gave him a B. I think I probably could have gone a little bit higher. Maybe I could have gave him an A minus as well, because here's the thing. Lee Hunter, I had a first round grade on him. Not going to lie about that. And where we got him, this guy's the best nose tackle, in my opinion, in this draft class. I had him as the best nose tackle. Not the best defensive tackle, but the best tackle in this draft class. Nose tackle in this draft class. This pick to me told me that we are tired of getting bullied in the trenches and just relying on Derek Brown. This is a strong physical defensive tackle. This is a guy who's built to clog those run games. He is more of the immovable object than the quarterback hunter. So when you go watch Hunter's tape, he's not racking up sacks. He's there to ruin your run game and make life miserable in the middle. He's the football equivalent of a traffic cone that also punches back. Some analysts thought this was a bit of a reach. I don't know how, because he had a first round grade. You got him in the second round. Yeah, you traded up to go get him, but not a perfect scheme fit. Comparables, a lot of people, the reason why I put Derek Brown, I was looking at comparables. Um, he got some comparables to Derek Brown. He got some comparables to Jeffrey Simon, so I put them up there. But I think I think I probably should have went with someone else, but I was trying to see what every other analyst was putting out there, and that's what a lot of the comparables I was seeing from a lot of analysts. Um, but this is a guy who's just a foundational piece, man. And the concern for me was that the concern for me was the scheme, but then I thought about it a little bit more. I probably should have taken that concern off, but that's okay. That's okay. Um, I do think that the scheme actually is going to work. It's just going to be interesting how they're going to make this rotation with like Bobby Brown the third. You got Cam Jackson, right? And you still got Turk. You still got Derek Brown. So it's going to be interesting, but this is a great thing for Giro Evero to get very creative with this defensive line, right? I think he's going to be just fine. I think Lee Hunter is going to fit right in. And I honestly think that he might end up taking that role at some point. He might not take the starting role immediately from Bobby Brown the third, because even though Bobby Brown the third came along at the end of last season, but we'll see. I gave it. I could have probably gone higher on the draft grade, but I want to be realistic a little bit. I'm trying to, and maybe I'm being too realistic, and maybe I'm being too hard, even though I'm happy with this draft, right? But yeah, yeah, yep. Let's see if I can get it like this. Oh, nice. There we go. All right, here's my next one. Chris Brazzell II. Ladies and gentlemen, I gave this a B plus. I love this pick. It was one of my favorite picks. This one was the one that like gets real interesting because this guy before if he would have came out last year, he had a first round. This year he even had a first round. Okay. But he fell because of maturity issues. But this is where things get interesting. Comparables, I gave Mike Williams and Marquise Brown. Honestly, think about Mike Williams and Marquise Brown, and if they had if you put you give Mike Williams body, right? But then you take Marquise Brown's speed. That's this guy. And that's why I love this pick. Because he's a 6'4" receiver who's legit, and he has legit speed, right? Over 1,000 yards in college production, a deep threat ability, right? A receiver who can stretch the field and actually scare defenses, okay? Deep threat ability with the big playmaking ability. So you got big, fast, dangerous, a true deep threat, proven production, what Carolina needed. All right. This is a receiver that can stretch the field. All right. And actually scare defense. We got a guy who can go get the ball like it owes him money, right? He brings the size, the speed, the vertical ability, basically the opposite of a check down merchant. He also fits perfectly alongside, I think, our current receiver group as a oh my God, complementary outside weapon. Okay. Complementary outside weapon. All right. Yeah, I've seen George Pickens as a pro comp for him as well. All right. Rolly, I think we are. I'll have to check with the boys, but I'm pretty sure we are. I also seen that too, Shawnee. Reminds me of a scarier Christian Watson. I'll take either one. Obviously, if you get a George Pickens, you got a true number one, true number two wide receiver if he ends up being like that. If you give me a Christian Watson, you still got a guy. Actually, all I want this guy to be, if we're being honest, chat, I just want him to be a Jamison Williams. That's all I want him to be. A guy or a Rashid Shaheed, someone that can take the top off the defense and we can throw the ball deep, right? Have that vertical threat. Have a guy that can take it to the house, right? Is practice going to be allowed to? You mean training camp, Jeff? I do not know that yet. I have not heard anything upon that, so I don't know. We won the game, and the Pickens spanked the Panthers' ass that game. He balled out in that game for sure. He balled out in that game for sure. But yeah, man, I gave this a B plus. I mean, again, there are some concerns with me with some consistency and durability. Nothing too crazy there. I know that he's not a guaranteed hit. There are some drops, and I'd love to see him stay healthy. Which I would love to see him put on some more mass, but hopefully, but I don't want him to put too much mass on where it slows him down, right? But I still gave it a B plus. I love that pick. One of the most that it was one of my favorite picks, right? All right, the next one. All right, next one. Let me pull it up here. Sorry. Was William Lee. William Lee. I call him William Lee because his real name's William Lee, but it's Will Lee the third. Hold on 1 second here. That's what I thought. Okay. All right, next one. Will Lee. I gave it a B. Now, here's the reason why I gave it a B, because this pick is like drafting potential. The pick for Will Lee is like drafting potential and hope it turns into production, right? I think the size is great. I think the physical traits are great. I still raw coverage. See, we needed help in the secondary badly. I think Lee gives us a developmental option. I don't think he's ready to lock down anyone yet, but the tools are there. I think of him as a DIY project, like could turn into something nice or sit unfinished in the garage. That's kind of what I see it as. And again, but again, he's got the tools, man. Like that's the thing. He's 6'1", 190, which are 6'2". He might be 6'2". But long arms, physical, right? Has the athletic foundation to thrive at the next level, as you can see. I do think he's still raw. Needs refinement in coverage, technique, footwork, and consistency, which we've seen. Again, I do think he's going to be a work in progress a little bit. All right. We need help in the secondary. This guy does give us some potential with some very high upside. I think his floor is like a special teams depth piece. I do think his ceiling's a starting corner. I think he'll be a developmental cornerback maybe at first. But he does add the much needed depth and competition in our secondary. And I think he's a very high upside player. So don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying I didn't like it. I gave it a B. All right. There were still some guys, and that's the thing with Will Lee. You still had Genesis Smith on the board, I think, there if I'm not mistaken. I think you also had I think you still had Justin Jolly out on the board at that point. Who else did we have up? There was another person that someone mentioned. It was Genesis Smith, I think Justin Jolly, and there was somebody else on the board when we picked Will. I can't think of it right now. But apparently there were some guys that maybe we should look. But I gave it a B. Again, I'm not mad at it. I watched some of his tape. I went back and watched some of his tape. And listen, man, there's a lot of potential there. That's all I'm going to say. There is a lot of potential. McNeil Warren, yeah. I think McNeil Warren was still there when Will Lee got picked. That might be right, Trizzy. That might be right. You might be right on that. So, yeah. All right, let's continue here. Let's go over to Mr. Sam Hecht. Sam Hecht. I gave it a B minus. Only reason why I gave it a B minus is, again, because of how the board was. Now, again, still got a steal out of him. I still love the Sam Hecht pick. I could have gone higher. Again, maybe I'm being a little too harsh. Again, the crazy part is I still love the draft, but part of me is still like, there were some guys, right? So again, it's not me hating on the draft. It's not me hating on Sam Hecht, because you all guys, if you've watched my content, I'm a huge Sam Hecht fan. I thought he was one of the best centers in his class. I thought he was one of the best fit centers for our team. Every draft has this guy, right? Every draft has a guy like this who's a smart, technically sound, not flashy. You want to see him on you won't see him on highlight reels, but you'll notice when he's missing, that's for sure. He's the offensive line version of the one coworker who quietly does everything right while everyone else is messing up. Right now, he's going to just probably be a solid backup, and then he'll end up taking the starting job maybe next year, right? Yeah, I've been pounding. And that's the thing, Marcos. That was another thing. Like, I've been asking. I was been pounding the tape. You're not wrong on that. Again, and you know what, Sean? I don't disagree with you. I can be convinced. Here's the thing. I can be convinced to change this. Okay. I can be convinced to change this. There's no doubt in my mind that I can be to change this because of the player, of the value. So I get all that. I can be convinced. But again, with Luke Fortner, I like this. I think Sam Hecht will end up being the starter here for Carolina for years to come, though, because I could see that now with him and Monroe. Again, I think Monroe Freeling and Sam Hecht could be together here for the next 10 to 15 years. If they can keep them together. And which is scary to think about, that your offensive line is still going to be, could still possibly be held intact, which doesn't happen very often in the NFL. Appreciate you guys watching, man. 39 people on the YouTube channel. We should already have 39 likes. We got 7 people watching on X. Do me a favor, drop a follow if you're watching on X. I greatly appreciate it. Shout out to you guys, man. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on. Let's continue this. So far, I'm not getting bashed in the comments too bad right now. I'm not getting bashed in the comments too bad, which is good. All right, Zakee Wheatley. I gave this one a B. I gave it a B because here's the thing. The safety was such a need coming into this draft. So this pick makes sense. I just wish that we would have gotten somebody sooner. Obviously Stukes went away. off the board early. Went way early. He ended up to the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. So that was my guy. But the safety was a need coming into this draft. So this pick makes a lot of sense. Athletic defensive back, right? Likely early special teams contributor. I think he could develop into a rotational safety. I think the worst case scenario, he's a special team stable, which honestly still has value. But here's the thing. I could see it where, like, here's the thing. I think I could see it where he becomes the starter. Like, I seriously could see him becoming the starter over over Nick Scott. I do. I mean, like, I could likely see, like, where it says early impact, likely to contribute early on special teams, will while continuing to develop, learn the defense. It would not surprise me if, like, mid-season this guy takes over, though, Nick Scott's spot. I just because, again, the range and the instincts pops off to me when I watch his tape. Um, not like he's not the speediest guy, but one of the most athletic out there on the field. I think he could develop into a very good safety on this team. I think if Evero can turn this defense around the way we hope and expect him to, um, but the biggest thing is we added depth and competition at that room, and you get a guy with some major athleticism. He's gonna be. I think he could end up being a true playmaker in that secondary. But I gave it a B. That's a good prediction. I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. So I gave him a B. And then let's round it out, chat. Let's round it out with the linebacker. With the linebacker. Now, this was a guy I did not expect, chat. This is a guy that I did not expect. Jackson Kuwatch. This guy was not, this was, unfortunately, I wish we would have gotten someone higher. Again, the classic late round effort guy. Was what this feels like. A guy who's got a high motor. I went and watched some of his tape. Definitely has a high motor. I think he's got some special teams upside to him. He's gonna run full speed into things and hope it works out. And you know what? Sometimes that's exactly what you want, a 7th round pick. The kid's got upside. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay. The kid has some upside. So I'm not sitting here gonna be like, this kid doesn't have any upside. He is a hard nose, high effort player. Again, he plays with nonstop energy and physicality. He flies the ball. He brings effort on every snap. He's got the speed, the aggressiveness, toughness to make an impact. But that's the thing. He's just gonna run full speed and hope things work out. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes you can get overly aggressive, right? This guy, a lot of people are saying, this guy could be a huge sleeper for us. So we'll see. I'm not so sure about that. I'm just being completely honest, chat. I'm not so sure I'm willing to say that. All right, I'm just not. I'm just not so sure I'm willing to say that. To be honest with you. To be honest with you. So overall, I gave it a B. We fixed the offensive line. You protect your quarterback. You add size and playmakers. You built depth across the roster. I still think we need some help at the tight end room, and I do think we still need some help in the linebacker room. And the only reason why I'm saying the linebacker room is because I wanted somebody else to really come in and just immediately make an impact to go alongside Devin Lloyd. Didn't get that. That's okay. I still believe we had one of the best draft classes, of course, like everyone's giving us. So overall, I gave it a B. Again, when we go back, chat, and when we go back and look at this draft class, right? Like what this draft really says is that what we got right was we addressed multiple roster holes without overthinking it. Added size and athleticism, which they badly needed. You built depth instead of gambling on boomer bust prospects, right? Right. We stayed disciplined early, right? No wild reaches at premium picks. That's the biggest thing. And that's what I want to show y'all with this image right here. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me go find it real quick here. And I really want to find this one. Here. This is the one I want to find. This. All right. So SF data Niners best value versus biggest reach. And we were negative 31st. Right? Negative 33%. Sorry. So steals and good value are on this side. Reaches and bad value is on this side. So it proves to me that we didn't reach for anything, obviously, because we're at negative 33%. Overall, we had the best draft from a value standpoint, right? I'll say this: what was still a problem for me is that we didn't get an immediate impact player in the linebacker room, which I wanted. The safety position, I even though with Zakee Wheatley, it just still feels unfinished to me, right? I still feel like our safety position, if you go back and watch some of that Rams game, man, it just shows that we need somebody back there to help cover with some of these linebackers. Now, with Devin Lloyd, that could change. Now, with the defensive line being solidified, you got Jalen Phillips and Nick Scorton here. So things could change, right? I just wanted to have that wild player who changes the trajectory of the team just a little bit more. And maybe that's me being greedy, but it is what it is at the end of the day. All right. Again, final verdict of this whole thing. This draft again won't win awards. It won't dominate headlines. But it seems to actually dominate a lot of headlines because a lot of people have us as the best draft in this draft class. It probably won't even trend on social media as it should, but we're a small town team, I guess. You know what I mean? It might actually help us win some football games, though. I'll tell you that. Because at the end of the day, that's the whole point, right? If Freeling develops, this class looks like a foundation piece. If Brazzell hits, the offense finally gets some explosiveness. If the defensive picks grow, this roster just gets deeper fast, right? To me, this was what you would call a blue collar draft class. Not funny or not flashy, sorry, not sexy, but built to do the job. So ceiling, I give it an A minus. Floor, I give it a C plus. All right. But overall, I gave it a B for the whole thing. Yeah, Sean, they took him, and I was pretty pissed off about that. I was pretty pissed off about that. I'll tell you that. Once I saw J-Rod get off the board, I was pretty upset. Even though I didn't act like it on Friday night, I was just like, man, that sucks. Because I was hoping we get him, but it is what it is, man. You're not going to win them all. You're not going to win them all. You're not going to get them all. It don't matter. It don't matter. So, all right. Have you subscribed for your chance to win a giveaway? That is a good question. If you have and you subscribe, make sure you send a screenshot. Look, I'll move the chat out the way. There's my Facebook. There's my Instagram. There's my X at Ropstar92_. You can still have time to subscribe and DM because you better hurry up and do it now because we're about to do the giveaway. All right. Okay. So, give me a second here. We're going to do a wheel of names. All right. That's what we're going to use. We are going to use wheel of names. Now, I have a list of names. I'm going to check my phone before we get started to make sure I get everybody added in there if I have not added all those people yet. Well, let me make sure I don't have it up already. All right, let me get my list of names. Where are they at? All right. I could just put all these in here. All right. So we got these names in here. Let's go through it real quick. Where's my phone? It fell down. All right, here we go, chat. Hold on. I got to make sure. Let me check my DMs real quick. Y'all people be DMing me trying to get up in this darn. All right. Oh, we got some requests over here. Someone sent me something recently and I missed it. I'm pretty sure. General Christian 2 requests. All right, chat. I don't see anybody in here. Yeah, you got that up there. Okay, got that. Someone sent me something. Maybe it was on was it on TikTok? Oh, hell no. It was on TikTok. German version, but I follow you. Oh, is this okay? Oh, he follows me on everything. Okay. I follow everywhere, so please include me in the giveaway. He didn't have to do all that. Okay. Basucci. Basucci. There we go. Now, here's how it's going to work, guys. I spin it. That's who the person wins. Okay? Plain and simple. I'm not going to spin it till the last one gets there, all that stuff. Okay? All right, let me go to X. I checked Instagram. I checked TikTok. All right. Let me go over here to X, make sure. Oh, we got some requests. No. Let's see here. Again, guys, if you want to get in, if you're already a subscriber, listen. I have over 7,000 people as subscribers. I'm not going to go through my list of subscribers and pick them. You know what I mean? What up, Trevor? All right, everybody's in. So this is the first round. The first round, this is for the hat. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle it. All right, it's shuffled. All right. It's shuffled. Now this is for the hat. Now this is how it's going to work. Once I spin it, it lands on whoever. Trevor, this is for a giveaway. If you want to be a part of it, all you had to do was send a screenshot that you're subscribed to the channel. That's it. Because I'm not going to go through all my subscribers because I said you had to be subscribed to the channel to enter in. If you want to get it, that's why I make people do it. Because I can't just make a list of people all by myself. You know what I mean? All right. So this is for the hat. Trevor, I can wait for you. I'll wait. I'll give you I'll give you whoever. I'll give you some time. Guys, if you want to enter in, Trevor, I'm waiting on Trevor. I'm going to give him a chance. If there's still anybody in here that wants to be involved in the giveaway, you have a chance. Zach, I'll see you later. Appreciate you coming through, my guy. All you got to do, screenshot it. Send me a message request, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. If it doesn't let you send the screenshot, just send hello and then send the screenshot once I accept. Now, the next giveaway, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to make people go through leaps and bounds like this. I am going to make it easier because I found a way to make things easier so people can enter. Because I didn't realize they had these things out there. All right. All right. All right. Trevor, all you have to do to message, like I said, is to send me what's your Instagram? It's right there. Robstar92 _. No. I'm trying to find something good here. Hold on. Get a little background music while we wait. All right. Waiting for some people to get in. Hidden request. Good Lord. All right, Trevor. Did you send it yet? What is this follow-up thing for Instagram? Just waiting on Trevor once ever he gets done. There it is. Got you. Got you, Trevor. You good, bruh? I got you. All right, Trevor Norris. Let's add him to the list, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Trevor Norris. All right, we're going to start off. We're going to shuffle it up. One more time. One more time. Let's run that wheel. This is for the hat. Ready? Oh, Thomas Richard. All right, Thomas Richard. Thomas Richard. Where did you message me at, Thomas Richard? Because Thomas Richard, where did you email me? Where did you message me from? Because I gotta find where that's the problem. And now I gotta figure out where you messaged me from. No, you're good, brother. You're good, Trevor. No worries. No worries. No worries. Nobody. Justin Thomas Richard, are you in the chat by chance? Thomas Richard. Thomas Richard. Thomas Richard. Maybe it was I got Thomas Richard right here. All right, Thomas. So shout out to Thomas. All right, yo, Thomas, you won the hat giveaway. We'll be in touch. I need some information from you, and please send me a Carolina Panthers and please send me what hat you would like, or just not everybody likes the draft hat, so it's all right. All right, so we're going to keep... Listen, I'm going to give... So Thomas Richard won the hat giveaway. Now this is for the big one. This is for the rookie draft, okay? This is for the rookie jersey, okay? Or jersey of your choice. And I'm talking about current player, not like something crazy. I want a Saints hat. This guy's a freaking Saints fan. He won. I still got to give it to him. I ain't going to do that to him. Jesus. All right, here we go. That's Eric Blair. I know who that is. They put Rick Blair. It's Eric Blair. Eric Blair, I know you're in the chat, brother. You just won the jersey giveaway, my friend. Shout out to Eric, man. Nah. Well, it says, does it have to be a Pan? He's asking me, does it have to be a Panthers hat? I do like Ted McMillan. Well, I mean, this was all about for Panthers fans, man. I mean, really, this was for my supporters. Eric Blair, are you still here in the chat, brother? I know, Sean, it almost did land on. I mean, I got Saints fans, and I guess I got Saints fans here too, chat. I did not know about. All right, let me find Eric Blair. I think Eric Blair, because I got to get up with him. Dang, Papa Striker missed out on it. Papa Striker, you missed out. Let me go find but come on, man, a Saints fan. I mean, what are you supposed to? What am I supposed to do? Tell the guy that no, I'm not going to let him win. I can't do that, man. If he supports me. He loves the channel, so I can't do it, chat. I can't be that guy. I cannot be that guy. You know what I mean? So we'll do more, man. Trust me. I'm going to do more of these. Don't you worry. This isn't going to be the last time. There will be more chances to win some stuff. All right. Don't you worry. I will make sure we do more of these. Okay. All right. Don't you worry. Let me get up with Eric Blair. Let me find out where Eric Blair. Did he screenshot in here? Yep. There he is. You won the jersey giveaway. All right. Need some info from you. All right. Cool beans. Oh, he wanted the draft one. Okay. The Saints fan wants to, he apparently he's a Saints fan and a Panthers fan. Only when the Panthers are not playing the Saints. That's what he says, chat. All right. You know, so he wants the draft one. All right. So there you have it, chat. That is the giveaway. 2 people won. All right. 2 people won. We'll do more. I promise. So I promise. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. All right. So you could be a part of these giveaways. Okay. I appreciate you guys, all your love and support. Shout out to everybody who continues to do so. We'll do more. I promise you, there will be more giveaways to come. Okay. All right. All right. But y'all continue to support me, continue to help the channel grow so we can do more. All right. So we can give back more. So I can give back more. All right. So appreciate you guys. I will see you I will see you tomorrow on Roundtable. All right. So on the NFC South Roundtable. And then I will do a live stream Wednesday, pre-record Thursday, and I'm going to try to do a pre-record for tomorrow as well. So shout out to you guys, man. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Be safe. Keep pounding. Peace.